Hello there, good morning. Welcome once again. It's a Tuesday. Yes, welcome to Breakfast Central on News Central with Olisa and Felicity. We're quite delighted to be with you once again.
Good morning to you. And may I just say this pink is coincidence. It wasn't planned. I turned up to work and Olisa is wearing pink.
Yeah,
like me.
We're thinking.
What's up with you?
It's called benefits of a good partnership.
But it does look good. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we have a full package for you.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to the program. Today is the 13th day of April 2021. Right then, you can join the conversation. It's quite simple. Use the hashtag #NCBreakfastCentral. Just log on and also join us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and you watch us on YouTube live, and also use the website newscentral.africa. You can also download the News Central mobile TV app. Quite simple, just download it on your Play Store or your iOS.
As always, we have a lot. We start with a review of some of the stories you might have missed the night before. And of course, Morning Tea will capture newspaper headlines across the continent. Our Impact conversation is up as well. Today, we'll be discussing the state of railway in Nigeria. We know that the government has been doing some rehabilitation and rebuilding of some of our dilapidated railways. We will be talking about that. We'll also have Tunji come, he's a regular face, to talk to us about the growing debt in Kenya and the warning issued by Nigeria Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, to the investing public on the proliferation of unregistered online investment platforms in the country. That is something you should join.
Well, that's for sure. We'll also have some sports updates for you and what's been on our timelines lately. And yes, returning to the program, what we call Trend Wave. If you're watching in Nigeria and Ghana and you're on Twitter, you don't want to miss this
Certainly, you certainly don't want to miss this
one. Twitter war.
A lot is going on. But first, let's bring you up to speed on some of the stories. We start from Mali, where we understand the failure to outlaw female genital mutilation is being challenged in West Africa's highest court by rights groups. Now, the West African country is accused by the rights groups of failing to protect girls and women from a grave and systematic violation. Women rights NGO Equality Now said it had jointly filed a case with two partner organizations at the ECOWAS Court of Justice after years of campaigning unsuccessfully for an anti-FGM law.
Now, the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa is one of three groups that filed the suit with the Abuja-based court. Now, it said the case had the potential to establish a landmark ruling in women and girls' rights jurisprudence in Africa. Now, attempts by the Malian government to criminalize FGM in 2002 and again in 2009 failed due to opposition from religious leaders. We'll see how this one goes. Perhaps a landmark ruling against female mutilation.
It's really amazing that we're still talking about female genital mutilation in 2021. It's really still amazing. I just hope that the campaign will not relent and maybe this will amount to something and show other governments how to go about implementing the changes we are looking at.
Right then, let's stick with West Africa. And I want to come home to Nigeria, where resident doctors in the country have tasked Nigeria's federal government to fulfill its part of an agreement which brings to an end to a 10-day industrial action. And the president of the National Association of Resident Doctors made the call while speaking to journalists in Abuja, Nigeria's federal capital, after members of the National Executive Council of the Union held a virtual meeting to appraise negotiations with the government.
The association is calling on Nigeria's federal government to prevail on states owing resident doctors in the country to fulfill their salary obligation to its members. Now, the doctors also say they will monitor implementation of their key demands within the next 4 weeks before any decision is made whether to resume the suspended strike action or not.
We are patriotic Nigerians and we are not hungry to go on strikes. If only government honor their own bargain. And for next 4 weeks, we hopefully wish that the government will honor their bargain. But however, The National Executive Council have placed a meeting for the 4th week to review the state and the extent to which government have gone to honor the MOA. So it's at that stage we are going to review what we're given and know whether the government have done well or not.
Right, and the ongoing dance, as I love to call it, between the federal government and the Medical Association, this time resident doctors, continues in Nigeria.
It's really annoying, if no one is going to say it, I will, that our resident doctors are striking and our president is out of this country on medical tourism. As far as I'm concerned, pick me up if you want. There is no justification for it. Our system is in shambles, and we're going to where it is better. I don't know how to explain that sentiment. To be honest,
I think
it makes no sense.
it just brings home the healthcare where we are right now in terms of healthcare in the country. Right then, still more on Breakfast Central for you. This time we're moving straight to the Horn of Africa, where security forces in Ethiopia's Oromia regional state have killed 119 suspected Oromo Liberation Army rebels. Now, Chief Administrator of the East Walega Zone of Oromia regional state, that's Alemayehu Tesfaye, who confirmed the killing, said they further 43 suspected OLA rebels and their accomplices were arrested during the recent military operations there.
The OLA is a breakaway faction of the ex-rebel group Oromo Liberation Front. The OLF was removed from the Ethiopian Parliament's terrorist list in July 2018 to help facilitate negotiations and foster reconciliation.
All right, so there you have it. So some of the news, well, you could use this morning right here on Breakfast Central.
Yeah, we have to just, make it very concise, but there is more stories. We have news at the top of the hour here on News Central. We have at 9 immediately after this, so you get more stories of what's going on across the African continent. But for now, we have the morning tea for the newspaper headlines.
All right, so still Breakfast Central at News Central TV. That's where to be. Actually, that's actually our Twitter handle. Yes, on your screen at News Central TV, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, also on YouTube. Right then, let's bring out our cuppers for the morning tea this morning. And speaking about cuppers, I've got one right here. It's not my usual tea. It's a smoothie, actually, from Felicity, homemade. There's apples, there's everything in.
Yeah,
making
that's
sure
how I take care of him.
I eat healthy.
Yeah, I take care of him.
Nice smoothie. All right, let's start in Kenya with the Star and see what they have for us this morning. It's starting on an animal front today. So in Kenya, lovely smoothie, by the way. Okay, so there you have it. That's a giraffe. An animal you're going to get to see every day. And the name of the animal is Susan. So Susan the giraffe rescued from sinking island. So you can find more on that on the front page and inside pages of the Star in Kenya. I love good animal stories. You know, giraffe.
Who doesn't, really? As
a pet, giraffe as pets.
No, I'd rather have a whale or an elephant as a pet, but I don't think I have the space for them.
As your spirit animal.
One day, I will never forgive a husband who ruined my life. There is a sad story there. The silence has been broken at a home somewhere where there was a domestic violence, I guess. So you might want to go read the details of that story. The story continues on page 4 and 5.
All right. Politics there. Ruto Gison's Royal talks amid, empty Kenya Jitter. So that's the political part of the story out there. Let's go straight to the Sowetan in South Africa. From east, we go down south. Look at what they have there. Quite sad on this one. It says, hospital negligence cost my baby a hand. And there's a picture of a lovely baby there. It says, mom suspects newborn admitted to treatment of Ronnie Tommy had arms amputated above her wrist after drip was incorrectly administered. Now, this is really sparking huge furore and they've gone with it this morning.
Quite heartbreaking, to be honest. You hold a child for 9 months, bring the child whole, and then due to someone's error, that child is deformed for life. There's this story of two Nigerian ladies. I'm not sure what country they are in. They had their wombs, I think, mistakenly cut off, and they are trying to sue for acknowledgement that there was an error committed. The kind of things, while we commend our medical officers for the outstanding work that they do keeping us alive. Some of them, I don't know, maybe they get too lax or something. Anyway, let's continue with other stories on the front page of the Sowetan. This one says, job market, just reward for 50-year-old toil on farm. The juicy details is on page 10 of the paper.
All right, let's go back to East Africa. There's one a lot to take on the New Times in Rwanda. Features the front page there. The president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, looking quite swaggery, as it says. So Kagame, so look, check it out. It says Kagame rallies African leaders on vaccine manufacturing. So people like championing, the last, like, guys, let's do it.
We've had that conversation here repeatedly, and it's imperative that we get our acts together and not wait for people to hand it to us. Also on the front page, Nyanza Memorial Garden to be completed by July 4. You see, says sitting on 3 hectares, the Garden of Memory has 12 fishers telling different stories of the genocide. You'll see details of that on page 3 of the paper.
All right, let's come home to West Africa. Where do we go to? The Punch or the Nation? Felicity, you.
I think we should go to the Nation and see what the state of the nation is. Apparently, it's not in good as usual. We have a gunshots pandemonium rock Southwest PDP Congress. Fayose whisked away from venue. Makinde's man, Arapaja Floors Olafeso. Okay, I hope I got those names correctly, but that's the big one on the front page. Just above that one, you have even more unfortunate story. Bandits kill father, son, 3 others in Kaduna. Houses, vehicles razed.
All right. I think we'll wrap up with the Punch this morning. And that's still in Nigeria. I'm sure we have images of it in the Nation, but then the Punch, they've gone for a front page spread there. So there you have it. The bodies of the 12 soldiers killed by bandits in Benue State. They were buried yesterday. A huge bereavement for the army and indeed their families.
Cells of credit. Cells. I don't know what's wrong with my tongue this morning. Apologies.
The smoothie.
Cells overcrowded as Jusin strike enters second week. Courts shut. Inspector General of Police orders men to avoid unnecessary arrests.
All right, so there you have it. This morning on the front pages, we started in East Africa with the Star, a bit of a giraffe animal story, went down south to the Sowetan, sad one there, mother claiming negligence for the amputation of a baby's hand. Also in East Africa, still went to the New Times in Rwanda. Papagame is calling on African leaders, let's get a vaccine, shall we? And in West Africa, Nigeria, insecurity once again at the top of the table, the agenda, and 12 soldiers buried who were killed in Benue State.
As always, I will urge that you read the stories. Don't just go with the headlines. Sometimes there might be something that's missed or slanted in a manner that it's not actually capturing the real story. I'm not saying that's the case all the time, but you need to read the stories. Don't run with the headlines alone. All
right, so we'll take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll be talking all about my favorite mode of transportation, rail in Nigeria.
How often have you used rail?
That's the big question.
Talking. Your favorite? How is it your favorite mode of transport if you don't use it all the time?
There is London and there is Lagos.
Okay.
Both start with an L. So I'm always confused where I am.
You can't be confused.
We'll let you know.
The difference is so much. Stay with us.
Right, and welcome back. Still Breakfast Central. I hope you're enjoying the conversation this morning, the program, because the conversation is about to begin. But to join us at News Central TV is where to be on Instagram, Twitter, and indeed on Facebook. Right about now, we're talking rail.
In 2011, Nigeria's government started massive rail projects across the country. This included linking the nation's seaports and airports with rail services. Now, the then Minister of Transportation, Idris Umar, that said that the government would develop new rail lines with the involvement of the private sector through the public-private partnership arrangement. 10 years on, what progress has been made?
That is the big central question, you have to say. Now, it was on December the 9th last year, 2020, that construction actually commenced on the Lagos-Ibadan rail line. This is the first part of the new 2,733-kilometer Lagos-Kano standard gauge line, with the total cost pegged at about $11.117 billion. Now, during a recent inspection of the rail construction across the country, the current Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, where he expressed his displeasure with the Chinese contractors for slowing down the pace of work. Now,
let's now bring in our Abuja Bureau Chief, that's Amadine Uyi, who's been following the progress of railway constructions across the country. Welcome to Breakfast Central, Amadine. Good to see you.
Morning, Felicity.
So what's the latest with the construction of the railway lines across the country?
Okay, I think we should go back memory lane because you got some of the dates wrong. Actually, the rail modernization project started under the former President Olusegun Obasanjo. There was an ambitious plan to link Abuja, the nation's federal capital, to Kaduna. But because the federal government was in a hurry, due diligence was not made. So Obasanjo was president between 1999 and 2007. So he even went ahead to award the contract for the Abuja-Kaduna rail project. But after Obasanjo left office, his predecessor, the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, came on board. He looked at the rail project and admitted that this was not diligently done. First of all, the federal government did not have enough funds to complete the project. Secondly, there was no engineering design that had been done before the contract was awarded. So what did he do? He terminated the contract and put it on suspension. President Omar Musa Yar'Adua did not complete his term. He died before he left office, and President Goodluck Jonathan came on board. And because President Goodluck Jonathan wanted to complete the Abuja-Kaduna rail project, he went to China, took a loan of about $500 million, and did due diligence and commenced the Abuja-Kaduna rail project. Unfortunately, he did not complete it fully by the time he was leaving office. That project was between 70 to 80% completed. Now, so when President Muhammadu Buhari came on board, he embarked on an ambitious rail modernization project and said, okay, what we are going to do is the first thing we are going to do is we're going to complete the Abuja-Kaduna rail project. And that was what he did. He tried to complete the Abuja-Kaduna rail project. And because he had a minister, the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, who while he was governor, remember that Amechi has started the Port Harcourt monorail, but could not complete it at the end of his tenure. So when he came on board as the Minister of Transportation, he said that he was going to pursue rail as an agenda for the current administration.
Yes. Now that you mentioned the minister,
if we leave you, Amadi will give us that because he's been following this a long time.
And he took us back from memory lane. So we're now, where we are right now. The minister you talked about, Rotimi Amechi, he seemed quite upset with the pace of work on the part of the Chinese and the contractors. Now, this is not the first delay, what's the latest story behind the delays right now on these constructions?
Okay, the rail projects were meant to have been completed last year. But because of COVID, there was a lockdown, everything went on suspension. Even after the lockdown, the China Engineering Construction Corporation handling the handling the Lagos Ibadan Rail project had to reduce their staff from I think about over 1,000 to barely about 100. And within the Lagos Kaduna the rail corridor, Lagos Ibadan rail corridor, there were over about 10 train terminals. If you start counting from Apapa, yes, and you go down to Ebute Meta, you go down to Iju, you go down, you get to Kajola, Papalanto, and the rest, and you now finally get to Ibadan.
Yeah.
There are about 10 train terminals. So naturally, there was a delay. But the minister had been putting pressure that the CCEC must complete the project so that it can be commissioned. Remember also that the contract was, because of the problem in Lagos, the truck problem in Lagos, the contract had to be redesigned. Instead of terminating at the Apapa train station, the federal government thought it wise to see that the rail project moved into the Apapa and Tinkan ports. So the construction works between Apapa and Ibadan, that is via Abeokuta, has already been completed.
All right.
It's just the minor works at the train station, putting the fittings, putting the electrical appliances, putting the telecommunication equipment.
Amadine, in the interest of time, I'll see if you can make your responses as concise as possible. Let me ask you this. You've been following this project for quite a while. What is your assessment of the level of work that has been done? Is it commensurate to the amount of money that has been pumped into this project?
Yes, I think it will be fair. It will be fair to say that, to commend the federal government and to commend the CCEC, because Nigeria is not like any other country. We have the population. So when you are redesigning a rail project, you have to pass as many communities as possible.
Okay.
Then the contract for the Lagos Kano rail project includes 2 universities, 2 transport in Daura, that is the entire corner, one in Daura and also another one in Ubima, Lagos State. So I will be fair to say that due diligence has been done to the monies that has been received. The train services have already started along the Lagos-Ibadan rail corridor.
All right, Amadine, just stay on the line. Yes, because you've been following this story and we want to continue this discussion. So stay on the line. We still have right now with us on Breakfast, Catherine, who's a YouTuber who has been traveling and documenting her trips with these rail services that Amadine has talked about. Kate, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Central.
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
All right, let's start with the process of getting the ticket before getting on board the train. How did that go?
Okay, so from the Ebute Meta train station, you need to have a valid form of identification first before you can purchase the ticket. And the ticket for the regular ticket was 2,500, while they have that of VIP. They have that of the regular ticket was what I purchased, and it was 2,500. But you need a valid form of identification for you to purchase a ticket.
So tell us about the train trip itself. What were your impressions of the services? From where did you start and where did you disembark? And what stops did you make along the way?
Okay, the only stop that we made along the way was at Abeokuta, but we started from the Ebute Meta train station, which is Mobolaji Johnson train station. Okay. That's where we started from, and it was a very smooth ride. The ACs were working very well. We had extension. We had sockets where we could charge our phones. There were security on board. At some point, a couple of passengers, because we got talking, and they were like, "Oh, don't we have security on board? What if something happens on the road?" We had security on board. There were nurses on board. And it was a very smooth ride. I would I would choose taking train to Ibadan than traveling by road, like taking
You
cars.
sound like you certainly enjoyed yourself. How many cities have you been using the trail and the train so far?
What?
How many cities have you been to using the train?
Oh, I've only been to Ibadan using the train. That was
Okay.
my very first train ride experience in Nigeria. I haven't
Wow.
traveled out of Nigeria, but that was my very first train ride, and I had an amazing time. And that was the reason why I decided to document
Okay.
my experience.
Speaking about the experience, which means you've traveled along the Lagos-Ibadan rail line. Time check in terms of, the destination, time and money, as they say.
Was 2 hours. Was 2 hours 40 minutes.
Oh.
A couple of people on board complained. If you travel with regular buses or private cars, you should get to Ibadan in an hour 30 minutes or so. But we spent about 2 hours.
Oh.
But to be honest, I did not even feel it because I enjoyed my ride. It was a very good ride.
Oh.
Okay, so
for someone like me, the content creator, I was editing videos on board, so I enjoyed my ride.
And you're documenting your travels along the way too.
I was just going to ask you quickly, if you can, in 30 seconds, what do you think needs to be improved with the train service so far?
A couple of people complained about not having food on board. I feel like they should have like snacks or something on board because we're hungry. So I think they should take that on board. And we were told that the speed would be improved on. So I'm looking forward to that happening soon. They make promises a couple of times and they don't keep it, but I hope that
Well, Catherine, because we're actually talking with our Abuja correspondent, Amadou Uyo, on this side, who's also been following the story, construction about rail. And personally, for me, I'm looking for the day where I can just right now leave this program, end up in Ibadan in the next an hour, and like Felicity, I'm here. Breakfast Central continues. That kind of thing. For you, traveling through rail in Nigeria from Lagos to Ibadan, was it more of an excursion or commercial travel? Because where do you feel we are right now in terms of the construction and where we are in terms of the services? Is this still I traveled through train, or I traveled via train? It's a commute, it's not a luxury. It's normal, like jumping bus. Shouldn't that be the case right now?
That should be the case, but to be honest, that's not really the case. Because for instance, where I work, my 9 to 5 job, my boss said he was traveling to Ibadan, and I was suggesting him taking the train to Ibadan. And he's like, Catherine, you're traveling for fun. For me, I'm traveling for work. And there are times that they board. And if you're traveling to Ibadan for a particular purpose, you might not be able to meet up with their own timeline.
All right.
Understand?
Speaking about timelines, Catherine, okay, so we're about to take a stop. We're not disembarking, so don't disembark yet. This train called Breakfast Central will take a break right now, and we still have Amadou Uyo all the way from Abuja. When we come back, we'll continue our rail line discussion right here on Breakfast Central. Stay with us.
It's a good feeling to know you're still with us on Breakfast Central, and it means we're doing something right. Thank you for staying with us. We still have Catherine and Amadine. Before we let Catherine go, I'd like to ask quickly, Catherine, would you recommend train travel for Nigerians? I mean, some persons are skeptical, and there's been fears about possible robbery en route certain tracks. Would you recommend train travel?
I would definitely recommend train travel because there's security on board. So, like, Nigerians don't need to be scared because there are security operatives on board to ensure that everyone is safe.
Okay,
and I think those measures have been put in place just to, give people a form of comfort or security, like know that you're secure.
All right, we hope to watch more of your exploits with the trains across Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you very much, Catherine who's clearly a YouTuber and documenting her travels via train in Nigeria. So, Ahmadine, I'm sure you followed the discussion with Catherine, who clearly has gone through the process of these train trips. What's your reaction to that before we let you go, Ahmadine?
Okay, I'd like to just highlight on 2 points she made. I traveled to Ibadan 3 days ago, precisely on Saturday, from Lagos to Ibadan via Abeokuta and back to Lagos. Unlike Catherine's trip, when I was going, I had fried rice and chicken. When I was coming back, I don't joke with my stomach. I had amala on board when I was coming back. Amala with very wonderful. I opted for okra soup, and it was wonderful. So I believe that the meal sessions will soon be extended. And also talking about the time. Now, the idea behind the trip is that when the operations kickstarts, because there are several places where they already train operations. Also, the Itakpe-Warri corridor is already ferrying passengers from Warri in the south to Itakpe, which is in Kogi State. That also has some form of train services. The idea is that for those who want to work with time, there will be particular trains, because there will be particular trains that will run at definitive time.
All right, Ahmadine, sorry to interject, but we're almost out of time. And if you can say this in 20 seconds, I'll be very grateful. The question is, do you anticipate a completion date this year? Because it seems this thing is dragging. How soon will all the rail projects be completed?
Now, I would like to quote the words from the Minister of Transport.
Okay. Unfortunately, we lost him. Thank you in absentia, Ahmadine.
All right, Ahmadine. All right. So thank you very much, Ahmadine. Thank you very much, Catherine. So at least both of them have had the train experience. We are going to have our own, VIP, first class. Okay.
He wants to form sexy on national TV. If I catch you,
yeah.
We'll go on a break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Right then, let's carry on the discuss right here. Still from trains, let's talk about, growing debt in Kenya. The IMF have announced a loan of more than $2.3 billion to support Kenya's pandemic response and economic reform program now. But it's not how some Kenyans see things there. They do not, want the IMF to give the country any more money.
This comes on the heels of a survey that showed that 4 out of 5 Kenyans felt anxious, fearful and angry because of the debt burden in the country. Hence, the Twitter stump with a hashtag Stop Giving Kenya Loans. Now, on June 11, 2020, the government presented a 2.79 trillion Kenya shillings, around 26 billion USD budget for fiscal year 2020-2021, which will run through to June 30, 2021. The budget seeks to tackle the economic impact from the COVID-19 pandemic, low-cost invasions and floods, and revive growth by supporting households and businesses.
Well, to break this all down for us and where Kenya find themselves now, we're joined once again by a regular right here on Breakfast TV, Breakfast Central. Tunji Andrews joins us now. Tunji is the financial analyst and founder of Awaba. Tunji, welcome back. Good morning to you. Now, when the current, government took over, Kenyatta's government, just to be sure, public debt stood at about 16 billion. It is now around 70 billion, more than 4 times as much, in terms of that growth. So, how do Kenyans find themselves in this fix with this growing debt crisis? Hello, Tunji.
Tunji, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, did you get the question?
Yes, I did. I did.
Okay, go ahead with your response.
It's the same way almost every country in the world got into debt. Countries are finding it more and more difficult to be able to raise revenue via the normal sources, either from resources or taxes, and are increasingly turning to debt to be able to fund things like infrastructure and pay salaries, which of course is increasing on a regular basis. The problem with the African continent is that most of our leaders are very short-term minded. So they are growing to just make sure that they're able to leave a legacy of things they did, irrespective of the amount of debt that is being left for future generations to pay.
Well, so Kenya find themselves in that fix right now. Tunji, let's segue quickly to talk about the Securities and Exchange Commission, that SEC in Nigeria, which has issued warning to investigate public about what is described as the proliferation of unregistered online investments and trading platforms, facilitating access to trading in securities listed in foreign markets. Now, what is the SEC? What do they mean by this right now?
So they are really talking about the platforms, fintech platforms that allow you to be able to buy stocks and shares in foreign markets. And the truth about it is that it's a bit of explanation on both sides. The SEC is guided by certain laws which say that you cannot trade shares that are not regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission in Nigeria. But the problem is that these platforms are not trading those shares. They are just giving access to people to trade those shares on foreign markets via foreign regulated entities. So if you want to look at it, it's pretty much like a Tinder for stocks and bonds, stocks basically in foreign markets. You find somebody who wants to buy, you find the exchange, you bring them together, and that's what these markets really do. But the SEC is saying these people are trading, and the SEC is trying to clamp down on them. But I do not understand why they must do this, because I do know that it's not exactly foreign to the Nigerian capital market for people to trade foreign shares, either via proxy or one thing or the other. But I guess the problem is that the SEC doesn't really understand the workings of these fintech businesses, and I think they just all need to sit down in one room and understand themselves better.
Okay, is SEC behind the times? Are Nigeria's financial systems behind the times? We saw what happened or is happening regarding cryptos.
True.
No, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, SEC is not against cryptos. The thing is, if you do not understand the workings of a system, you have to stand up and protect that system. The SEC has always been at the middle or at the receiving end of people complaining that they went to invest in one Ponzi or the other, and the SEC is always trying to explain to people. So what the SEC is saying with this is that, come sit down with us, let us understand what you are doing, so that if there's anything in any way we can protect investors, Nigerian investors, so to say. And I think that is not out of the ordinary. That is not a thing that is difficult to do. And I think these platforms also are open to that. But I think it's just time. Like I said, they all just need to sit down inside one room for a little bit of time and get to know each other better.
All right, just like they do on Tinder, right, Tunji?
Swipe right, swipe left. Thank you very much, Tunji.
Tinder for fintechs. All right, thank you very much, Tunji Andrews, once again, always breaking it down for us right here on Breakfast Central. All right, then, you want to catch more on that SEE matter? We'll have Tolu Adelolu Balogun, yes, News Central's very own Business Edge at 11 a.m. WAT. She will break it down with all the SEE guys and, you know, those even affected, this platform affected. So more on that much later on News Central.
For now, we'll go on a break and Oli, sir, sports.
All right, we might just have to run straight to it without the break. So let's let you know about there will be football tonight in terms of UEFA Champions League action. We can confirm the likes of Chelsea. Now, they went away from home the other day against FC Porto. They won by 2-0. The likes of Mason Mount, yes, indeed, he scored one of the goals there. So Chelsea to go away from home, come back home today with a 2-goal lead for the second leg action against FC Porto. So they'll be tasting FC Porto at Stamford Bridge. Not bad at all. Now, the other match that sees Bayern Munich this time away against Paris Saint-Germain. The likes of Choupo-Moting will be there for Bayern Munich. They lost at home last week, Wednesday, 3-2 against PSG. Now, can they do the same away against this PSG side who looks like they have perhaps 1 foot based on away goals difference? We'll just have to wait and see. Quickly, so then let's run down the fixtures for you. So Chelsea at home versus FC Porto and Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munich. On the African scene, it's all about, retirement, you have to say. 2 Kenyans, Hassan Waswa and Dennis Oyango. Now, both of them announced their retirements of football yesterday. So Ugandans are, quite happy to have served them quite well in terms of the national team. Not bad at all for those teams. And let's let you know that there's some news trending in Nigeria right now, sporting-wise. Nigeria Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa, there is talk that he might be joining a local side. Yes, a team he played before for. That's Kano Pillars. So it's being reported that perhaps Ahmed Musa will be playing in Nigeria for an MPLFL team he's played before. We're talking about Kano Pillars. There'll be more of that later on Sports on In The Game. Catch them. They've got everything for you at 10:30 a.m. West African time.
All right, more. There's always more here at News Central Television. All you need to do is stick with us. We will not disappoint. All right, we'll do trend waves now. What's going on with Ghana and Twitter?
So let's do trend wave. It's returning back to the program. So drum roll. Now, if you're from Ghana and Nigeria, you might have noticed that Ghana was trending yesterday. Yes, in Ghana, Twitter sphere, and also in Nigerian Twitter sphere. Now, I think it's only fair if we explain why it all started. That man there, Jack, CEO of Twitter, he has come to Nigeria before. Just me saying. Now, he tweeted this yesterday. Twitter is now present on the continent. Why? He says, thank you to Ghana, and he tweets at the Ghana president, that's Nana Akufo-Addo, and says hashtag Twitter Ghana. So it means Twitter is establishing their presence in Africa, in Ghana. And this clearly means that they will have a headquarters. Twitter HQ Africa will be in Ghana. And Nigerians felt, hold on, hold up, wait a minute, Jack, but you came to Lagos. You ate jollof rice with us. You ate our jollof rice. You went to Yaba. We went to.
You're even talking about that. The population.
Yeah.
I think the shenanigans on social media basically is around the population that is on Twitter from Nigeria and Ghana. Nigeria is over 30 million, and Ghana is not up to 10 million, according to what I saw online.
So Nigerians are feeling aggrieved that why should Twitter HQ be in Ghana and not Nigeria?
There's always something to beef about.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see some of the tweets.
Yeah, okay. So that's the first tweet there from, and this is, journalist Kelechi Nkoro, who talks about, now he puts it in context. He says, Amazon, South Africa, base, Amazon Africa and South Africa. Facebook, obviously, Africa headquarters in Nigeria. Google, Nigeria and Ghana. Microsoft, Nigeria, Kenya. Twitter, Ghana. Says, instead of Nigerians to see it as a win for the continent, we are acting like jealous second wife. Let's take one more tweet on this because it really sparked a furore on Twitter. And Fisayo Soyomba says that Twitter is coming to Africa and it has picked Ghana at its continental base. Says why? Ghana is a supporter of free speech, online freedom, and open internet, which is also a point. Says same space in Nigeria government is bent on shrinking. You think, say, now you do, they do, really back and forth. I wonder what you make of it, Felicity.
For me, I think I go with that first comment, that it's a win-win for Ghana and, I mean, for the continent, basically. One country wins in Africa, it should be that the other country wins as well. But there's always something to bicker about on social
Ghana,
media.
There's jollof rice in there. All right, we're joined now by Chigos, who's also quite a tech entrepreneur in Lagos, Nigeria. Also made an appearance some time ago on Breakfast. Chigos, good morning to you. Welcome back, Breakfast Central.
Good morning.
All right, Chigos, what's going on? Twitter is agog. Nigeria and Ghana again. This time, Jack cause fight.
And okay, so to be very honest, the whole move is a big win for the African continent. I mean, we should be happy that the international tech platforms are coming into the country and all. But all the same, is a wake-up call for Nigeria because, I mean, we use Twitter more. We have more population. We're the ones that practically dominate the whole Twitter.
Really. And I don't start this matter again.
I'm telling you, them not coming to us first is like, we feel bad because we're the Twitter warriors, if you look at it like that.
But is it only by Twitter warrior? I'm confused.
I know, but things that it also hurts for businesses too, because a lot of businesses utilize Twitter. A lot of businesses use Twitter to push their platforms and a lot of things here in Nigeria and all that. Because, I mean, for my company, we always get a lot of requests to do Twitter campaigns and a lot of that. And now, seeing that Twitter has chosen Ghana, I'm sure Twitter has seen something valuable in that country because I know that they're a very, very free country. You can do stuff. There's a tweet that you just showed now about freedom of speech. I mean, in our country, they've regulated Twitter without Twitter's permission. So clearly, Twitter is afraid of coming here because there might be a lot of regulations that might be set that will make them try.
But it's still close. It's still close. Now, Ghana, Nigeria, no fan. So so why are we crying? Why are we?
I mean, trust me, it's actually a wake-up call.
Okay.
All right, let's see some more of those tweets that's been trending and then take your thoughts on them. This one says, Nigeria is like the dazzling, exciting girl Jack dated. Ghana is the calm, dependable one he married. How does that sting for you? There's another one here. I think this is the one I saw. Ghana has 31 million people, 8 million social media users. Nigeria has 200 million people, 33 million social media users. Guess where Twitter chose to put its headquarters? Ghana. We ban crypto, kill small businesses, oppress young people. This is why nobody rates us. Your thoughts quickly to wrap things up.
Okay, so it's not even about the users anymore. It's about the ecosystem.
Okay.
The ecosystem here in Nigeria doesn't really support freedom of speech on Twitter and the rest of other things, clearly. So the social media platform is a platform where you can say everything, but the platform gives its own regulation. Not the government giving the platform regulation and everything you get. So I feel there's a whole lot of conflict of interest, and I'm sure Twitter will have their own reasons why they didn't come to and everything. But I mean, let's take it as a win. We shouldn't create no war. We should just work on making our own country very, how do I put it? Have a good ecosystem in Nigeria to accept all technologies and everything. So.
All right, enabling environment, and you just said ecosystem. Thank you so much, Chigozie Okara, CEO of Softwork XYZ, always in the tech space. We'd like to have you again once again, bro. Have a good one. All right, so that's the package on the program today. It's been quite a bumped one.
Yeah, we had to rush through a lot of things. I hope you got as much information as you needed to get your day off to a rocking start. Thank you very much for joining us.
Don't forget to catch us on Twitter, Instagram. That's where you have to catch us. We'll see you again tomorrow. It's going to be a Wednesday. I and Felicity are going for a Pink Floyd Tuesday afternoon date. Sorry for that. Why you look like that?